Well, hello there. It's Les Solgrove with Simply Des Moines and the Simply Des Moines Market Values Week 32 report of the Des Moines and Central Iowa real estate market. Been doing this little show since March of 2020. I don't know how many shows that is counted, but it's over 100 and some. In any case, it's the weekly show that talks about Des Moines and Central Iowa real estate, what's happening in the marketplace, where the movers are happening and where the areas are that are kind of slowing down and things like that. So I hope you'll at least take a moment and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with a friend, and get the word out because it's great information for you here, especially in a changing market. So here we are, week 32, 2023. Here is the weekly hot sheet. And last week I was talking about the number of homes for sale and where the homes were selling, the counts of the homes were selling. I basically profiled these three categories right here. This week we're going to talk about homes for sale again, but I do want to point out the year-to-date closed is about just under 2,000 homes fewer year-to-date closed than where we were last year. We were at 10,037 homes closed, and in the books as of last year were 2,000, just under 2,000 of those same sales shorter this year. And you can kind of look at that on this graphic here down in this lower right-hand corner. The closed sale pricing, if you were interested in that at all, is even though prices are up, list prices, sale prices are holding pretty close to what we were doing last year. You can kind of see down here that the existing homes were just slightly above last year's pricing. The existing condo townhomes were just slightly above where we were last year in pricing. New home sales are pretty much dead even. And then the new condo townhome sales are still up a little bit. So the one area that's not seeing a lot of increase, which is probably good for the lower end market, is we're starting to see this new home sales kind of flatten out a little bit. They've pretty much peaked their pricing there. So the 8,000 closed sale milestone. We just had 7,000 about 3 weeks ago. We did it again this time, August 11th. It took 24 days to reach from 7,000 to 8,000 closed sales. And if you pull that straight down, you'll kind of see that we're a little bit slower than the last 7 or 8 years back down to 2015, but we're definitely faster than 2014 through 2012. And this is not a mistake. 2011 and 2010, those 2 years, we failed to close more than 8,000 sales in the whole year. So be thankful we're not sitting in that market where we close less than 8,000 sales in a year. So we still have, for the most part, 3.5 months left of, or 4.5 months left of this year. And I think we're gonna still hit around that 13 to 14,000 closed sales. I think we did about 15,000 last year. So if we look at it from this perspective, the date that we hit that just over 8,000, where we hit 8,077 on August 11th, if you again draw that same arrow across, you can see that we're very similar to 2019 or similar to 2016, but we're ahead of 2015. And in 2015, at this same time in the year, this is as of August 11th all the way across the board. At that point, we were at 7681. And so, I think that, like I said, I think we're going to outpace at least the years prior to 2016. I would like to think that. Hopefully we'll outpace 2019, which would be great because it shows that we're kind of back from pre-COVID numbers, but we're still about the 400, little under 400 homes behind 2019 closed sales. This week's topic is really about inventory. One thing I was looking at when I pulled the market stats today was it looks like our inventory is on the rise, and the question is it on the rise because we're getting more listings for sale? Is it getting on the rise because the market's slowing down a little bit and they're just not selling as fast? Or are there perhaps some market distractions? Well, clearly, the corn dog theme of this graphic, has a lot to do with the Iowa State Fair. And I know there's a lot of talk every year that realtors say, the real estate market is just almost shuts off during the 10 or 11 days of the Iowa State Fair. And I would disagree with that. I would say that it's just a little bit, it's not the fair to blame. Sure, the fair does draw a lot of people, away from work and out of the home search process during that 11 days. But I just don't think that's necessarily true that it's the cause. But let's go ahead and look at the numbers anyway here. So this is the weekly graphic showing you homes for sale. This is the number of homes for sale as of Sunday today, August 13th. We're sitting with 2,970 homes on the market. Now, here's the good news. We're getting awful close to that 3,000 mark, which, is psychologically a good thing for, I think, a lot of us agents and a lot of home buyers when they start to hear agents talking about being more than 3,000 homes on the market. Now, remember, it wasn't that long ago we had 6,500 homes on the market as a normal market. But when we get above that 3,000, that just kind of is a psychological feel-good that's out there. And as you can see, the last year, it took us all the way till week 44, which is the end of October, to get to 3,000 homes for sale. And that same period of time, in 2021, we were only at 2,274. So we are making improvements on our listing inventory counts, but it's just not necessarily coming up as fast as it probably could to help stimulate the market, although it is on the rise. So one of the things we look at to try to determine is why the homes are coming up in counts, why our inventory is rising. Because the logical thing, you look at the market and you go, let's go back to that graphic. You look at this and you go, well, gee, more homes are coming on the market every single week since prior, about week 17 on. We've just seen this continuous increase in homes for sale. But sometimes it is true. You might have more listings, but in this particular case, in fact, the last 3 weeks, we've seen a decline in the weekly number of homes coming on the market at 276. And again, we go back, that just contradicts what we're showing here on this graphic where we're seeing an increase. So that just means that maybe the market is perhaps slowing down just a little bit. Homes are not being bought as fast, and they're having an opportunity to stay on the market a little bit longer. So 276 was the number of homes this week, and it's still not a bad number. But boy, we sure like it when we can get 300 or more homes on the market. It's just kind of that tipping point, I think. So the other thing you want to look at to help determine whether the homes on the market are increasing because of something other than just more homes is how fast the homes are selling. And this is a graphic I started up this year. It's the 30-day sales pace graphic. It's the basically a count of homes that went under contract in a rolling 30-day period. So August 13th back to July 14th, for example. This bar here represents the number of homes that went under contract during that period, which was around about 1,100 or so, 1,120, 25 homes that went under contract. So that's definitely not as fast of a pace as we've seen in previous weeks, and that could account for that inventory rising, because these buyers that would normally be buying and showing this number rising, or this bar rising, would have an effect of lowering the homes for sale numbers. So again, it very well could be that it's the 30-day sales pace. Another graphic we look at, and I apologize, this one just looks really, really confusing because it's brown on black and gray, and the black and gray are overlays from the last 2 years, which is popular to look at to compare. But we had 63 homes this past week come back on the market that were previously under contract. So that's another 63 homes that were added to our market. That were back, that were pending, that came back on the market. And, whether they were inspections, whether they were financing, it's hard to say. Interest rates have gone up. We won't really talk about interest rates this week, but interest rates did go back up this past week. The national average from Freddie Mac is 6.96%. So it's really touching that 7% national 30-year fixed rate mortgage, which is really, I think, affecting home buyers. I don't want to say that maybe their ability, well, it's affecting some of their ability, but it's also maybe affecting their desire to move forward and buy right now. So that's the one number right there that, is probably adding a lot to our inventory. So as a result of maybe the market slowing down, here's an indication that it is slowing down. We see days on the market is increasing. We're now at 7 days on the market on average the last 2 weeks for all homes. And really, we've been in that 6 to 7 days on the market since week 21. And, this is the time of year we do start to see, if you can, looking at the 2022 and 21 numbers, you do see that we are on a typical rise. It just happens to be more than the last couple of years. But this is about the time when the days on market does slow down just a little bit. Same thing with the months of inventory. If we have more days on the market and there are more homes for sale and fewer offers being made, then our months of inventory is going to rise. And this is basically a graphic that shows you over here to the left is number of months. And, at 3 months to 5 months right now is what's classified as that balanced market according to NAR. And, we're coming pretty close to having a balanced market right now. We're in a seller's market still and have been since week 3 of earlier this year. And I think we're going to move pretty quickly up this line here as the coming weeks come. And, that really is not a bad thing when you have more months of inventory, because for home buyers, that gives them the opportunity to have a little bit more time to find that home they're looking for. Granted, if it's in a very, very low inventory count price point, like under that 250 price point, homes are still selling in 2 to 3 days, as long as they're in good condition and priced properly, if they're not just, crazy pricing. So, but we are seeing that number move toward that balanced market. So we'll see how that moves here. So last graphic I have here is, this is homes for sale from 2009 to present. And this just again shows you the natural ebb and flow of each year. So back in 2009 and 2010, we were right at that 6,000 homes for sale high point there. And prior to that, it was even higher than that. But around that 2009 to 2010, we would see about 6,000 homes on the market. And days on market during that period of time were also longer. They were 60 to 75, 80 days on the market. So, gosh, imagine that. Home sellers, you'd be freaking out in this market. But you can see that, as we go down this path here, we start to see inventory rise and fall as we get toward the last half of the year. It tends to fall and rises as we go into the spring and backwards. Now, obviously right here, this 2020, this little nub right there, that's when COVID hit. We were on this natural path. You can kind of play this out. If we were on the natural path, I would have expected our inventory to rise not to 5,000 in 2020, but well into the 4,000s, and then back down and continue to rise. That was kind of the natural progression, the natural cycle of our real estate market going that period of time. Of course, when COVID hit, everything just changed, and all the homes started to sell with interest rates also dropping, and everything went to the basement as far as listing counts and mortgage interest rates. And they stayed there pretty much, obviously, as we all know, till early 2022, when mortgage interest rates all of a sudden started to rise very, very quickly. Now, I will tell you that the appetite for being a home buyer was still there in 2022, even with the high mortgage rates, because you can see our inventory was continuing to count and tick up. I feel like we still have a lot of home buyers sitting on the fence that are disguised as a potential home seller. They're sitting there in their homes they own saying, I'd like to sell my house, but right now, it doesn't make sense for me. That's their mentality. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to tell you that if you're a homeowner sitting on the fence right now, it's probably the time to be really considering that. You'll never find a better time to have, hungry buyers, even with the higher mortgage interest rates. The buyers, especially in the lower price points, are still out there looking for homes, and you will have less, competition when you're looking for homes. Yes, you'll have fewer homes to search from, but if you can find that proper home out there, you very well could be listing your home and selling it fairly quickly, and maybe selling your home subject to sale of your house. So consider that. As we move forward, I think 2024 is predicted to be, a little bit better year for everybody, and I think we're going to see the market change and be more attractive to everybody. So back to finalize today's show here is the market distractions this month in August. Obviously we have the Iowa State Fair, back to, elementary, high schools are all going back in session here in another week. Everybody's kind of out there either taking their last vacation if they haven't already done so. We typically have the hottest weather, the hottest days of the year come in the month of August, and that will slow down buyer activity, which might help increase the listing counts. And then, of course, there's all kinds of family activities with, Little League, and, soccer's starting to come up, and, a lot of just family activities and family reunions and stuff. And so the general question is our market distracted, or is it just kind of August? And I will tell you that my opinion is it's just August. August is always a month that's going to be a little bit slower just because it has all of these things happening, but are they a distraction, or is it just part of our general market? And, homes sell 365 days every year. And, to say that the month of August, you should just take it off, I don't agree with that. I think there's always an opportunity every day to buy or sell your home. So that's it for my show this week. I have one more graphic here. Just wanted to remind you, if you are waiting for the end of the year to come and get into 2024, it's only 134 days till Christmas, kids. So hang in there. It'll be here before we know it. So that's the show. Again, thanks a lot for joining me every week. Please leave your comments in the show notes, either on the YouTube channel, or you can leave them on social media where I post this. So thanks for joining me, and we'll talk to you all again next week.